Hey everyone, I'm Jamal Habibi and I work on OFN's public policy team. I hope you're enjoying our virtual small business finance forum. While we're in between sessions, I'd like to introduce you to Jerry Ford of Redbone Logging out of Eastern Washington. Jerry was introduced to us by OFN member Northwest Native Development Fund. Jerry took some time earlier this month to show us greenhorns around his logging business. So please join us around the landing fire for a unique look at this CDFI-funded business. Hard hats and work boots not required. Thanks to Jerry, Maria, and Dakota at Redbone Logging, Ted and Chris at Northwest Native Development Fund, Wells Fargo for their sponsorship, and to you for tuning in.
Hi there, everyone. My name's Jerry Ford, owner of Redbone Logging. This is my son Dakota. And we're right here in Wellpinit, Washington on the Spokane Indian Reservation. This is where we reside and where we work. We work on reservation lands. I had Redbone since created in 2015. Before that, we had another family business. Been a logger all my life, but now I am the only owner of Redbone, and this is where we work, right here on the Spokane Indian Reservation. We employ about 10 employees. It's not a very big logging crew, but we have about 5 operators. We got 2 skidders, we got a log loader, we have another processor, and we got another processor sitting over here. So we got about 5 employees or operators, and we have about 4 logging trucks underneath us. So roughly around 10 employees. And most of our employees are all tribal members from the Spokane Indian Reservation right here. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the equipment. This here's my John Deere skidder. If you don't know the skidders, got a big grapple here, as you can see. The production kind of starts from a hot saw. A long time ago, you know, all the wood was cut down by chainsaws and people on the ground doing that work. That was called like conventional logging. Nowadays it's called mechanized logging. My hot saw's not here right now. It's in at the shop getting repaired. But what a hot saw does, it leads it. It goes out in the forest, and it's got a big spinning disc on it, and it cuts the tree all in one swipe. It packs the tree, turns around, lays it on the ground, and then he goes after other trees that are supposed to be coming down that are marked to cut. He creates a buncher pile for the skidder. So roughly 6-8 trees in a buncher pile all the way down a line. Skidder comes in and grabs the buncher piles with this big grapple, drags it into a landing like what you see here. Goes into the landing, and that's where our processors do the limbing, the lengths, measuring, just all of buttons, the operator inside the machine. He looks at what the species he has, whether it's a fir tree or pine tree, and he knows the different lengths to cut. So the processors, within seconds, will make logs, measured logs, limbing at the same time, and putting it into the decks. And after the processor does that, we got this log loader. Got a big grapple on here. This is a big Hitachi. And what the log loader does is put the logs on the logging trucks, and the logging trucks come in. So it's all kind of a series of things that requires this for logging. It's pretty much starting from kind of the old equipment, and I needed some help. So we heard about NNDF, Northwest Native Development Project for Native Americans, and we went after a loan to get the skidder. And the skidder is kind of my baby because that's what I run. The 748 G3 John Deere. And that was our first move with the skidder here. I needed a big skidder. So with NNDF's help, we got this here first. can see in the background, we got a stroke delimber. That's the first processor we had. It's kind of older machine, but that's how I started out, was with that machine there. And, that machine kind of limbs and measures the logs. And it's a little slower than what I got now. The processor I have now is actually in Spokane. It's getting repaired. But that's the processor that can really squirt up the logs. And then the next year, I talked to Ted and I says, hey, I need to get a little bit bigger here. I got lots of work out here. So from there, it's kind of where we went. And I wanted a log loader and I wanted a processor to try to grow. And I was shooting for the stars. I didn't think so, but with the help of the wife over here, kind of behind the scenes of putting together a business plan. And we went after a big loan for the Hitachi log loader and the processor. And lo and behold, we got approved, and that was a great day for us. It's like, yes, we're doing it. We're living the dream. Someone give me a chance. And with the help of Northwest Native Development Fund, we got 3 pieces of equipment and a couple older pieces of equipment that we've already had. But that's kind of how we got going. And we're not done yet, for sure. There's more things that we need to kind of compete with the other contractors that work here. We're kind of a smaller crew, but we do pretty good for ourselves. And we pretty much have all natives working, taking care of a lot of families here. And that was kind of my goal, to be able to put tribal members to work. Because a long time ago, everyone had chainsaws. We called them grunts, sawyers. They'd go cut down the trees by hand. And it's hard to find workers like that anymore. Early 90s, my first job was out here in the woods, and back then we're cutting down trees by hand. Me and my brother were sawyers. And that's pretty tough work, especially in the wintertime, packing the saw around and hip high snow and out there grunting and knocking down trees by hand. Yeah, it wasn't until like 99, 2000, I guess, we became smart loggers and went into mechanized logging. Everyone gets in a machine and it's all done by equipment now. But it's still done that old style once in a while. If our hot saw can't knock down a big tree, someone's got to get out and knock it down by hand, So the old ways are still used. The logs that we produce, they go to different mills. As you can see, we got red fir here, Douglas fir. That was going to one mill up north, Boise Cascade. It's got to be different lengths, diameter. And then over here, it's a different species. This is what you call grand fir. And the grand fir, which is nicknamed white fir, it goes to a different mill. And actually, this wood here was going to Idaho. A little bit further, but it's a hard market to find for this grand fir. And that's one thing that my processor can do when it comes into landing. It can sort in different decks like this. So it makes it easier for the loader when he moves in to load the trucks, because you can't mix these on trucks. They got to be by species. So this is our grand fir going to one mill, and this is our Doug fir going to another mill. And then up here, we got the shorts. Shorter logs, we got these log trucks that we call Mule Trains, and they're just kind of a short bunk, trailer behind them with a short bunk. Those trucks come in here and they take all of our short wood. So Mule Trains are always good to have because you're always gonna have short logs. So that's a different sort, it goes through a different truck. And then over here, a lot of our wood, we got, it's called like hew wood. A lot of it's paper mill. It's our ton wood. So the paper mill is kind of a big theme for us, because things that won't make a good log to one mill, we can send it in this pile here, can be mixed up different species, and it goes actually to a paper mill, which paper mill, they'll send it in a big old hog grinder, grind it up no time, and for a paper plant. So that's kind of technology there, and actually it can be used for biofuels also. So it's utilizing everything. With the processors, we utilize the whole tree, take it right down to the very limb, the top. Only thing that's kind of left is the brush, which we bring the brush back out to the forest for better nutrition, and but we're utilizing the whole tree. So, and over here we got the pine, the ponderosa pine, that goes to a different mill too. Beans we're in eastern Washington, we're in pine country, and we didn't kind of have enough right here for a load, so down the road we got other decks. We got to clean up here. It's not going to be wasted. Everything's going to make it to the mill. Still good wood. We got shut down in February, and at that time we didn't really know much about the COVID-19, how it was going to affect us loggers. And we thought usually we come back to work in April, and that didn't happen this year. As everyone knows, the world kind of came to a stop, and the mills, everyone had to stay home, even though out here, we work kind of by ourselves. But what kind of stopped us this year was the mills, the workers, they sent everybody home, and they're kind of still accepting logs, but they wasn't making boards, just so no one would get sick, and keeping everyone home and safe. So here it is, June now, and we should have already had a couple months in, and we're kind of still sitting right now, but things are starting to open back up. We're in a phase 2, and with the forestry and the tribe, they say that we're gonna be going back to work here real soon. So things are starting to dry up. The mills are starting to open, so things are gonna start getting better again. But that's pretty much how the COVID affect us. But during the breakup time, the spring breakup, I also own cattle kind of off to the side, Black Angus. And this year, something I always go back to in case if I need help, I always depend on my cattle. But this year I got a what you call a beefalo bull. I'm gonna cross them into a Black Angus and create beefalo. It's kind of my thing that's been around since forever, the 70s. The meat's supposed to be high in protein, less in fat, less in cholesterol. So it's kind of a win-win thing, I kind of think. I mean, it's a good, healthy meat. So I got like only 20 head of Black Angus, but I got my beefalo bull, which is 37% bison. So I'm crossing them over into my Black Angus and going into the beefalo market, and it's kind of my backbone, kind of behind logging. There's a sale every Monday. If I need help, I got something kind of bail me out. With this COVID, actually, I had steers, and you couldn't find no meat in the supermarkets, and I had a bunch of friends get a hold of me asking me for some beef. And I actually done pretty well this year. I got rid of a couple steers and helped other families out because they couldn't find no beef in the supermarkets this year. So even that business part is going to grow along with my logging. I hope to be at least 40 to 50 head of that, have something off to the side there, and then have my logging also. But Redbone, it's kind of a family business. And then, my son here, Dakota, he's ran my skidder for me. He's kind of the next generation along with his brothers and cousins. And I've always kind of said that this year ain't just for me. It's for the next generation. It's just like our logging here on the reservation. We have a 20-year plan. So we got a rotation. It's not a very big reservation, but we got a 20-year plan that we can come back into this area in 20 years and harvest it again to make the forest healthy is kind of what we're doing. We're going in here and forestry coming out here and marking some trees to space it up a little bit. But it's always set up to where we can come back in 20 years and log it again. I want to kind of go back to the COVID. Kind of stopped everything with the logging. We didn't have work, so kind of want to go to how my lender NNDF kind of helped me with the payment holiday. I was worried about not being able to make the payments because everything stopped. But with the help of Northwest Native Development, they worked along with us, and that was awesome. I was really panicking, not sure how I was going to keep up on payments, but they came through with this payment holiday, and what it does is gives me these skip payments but goes to the back of my loan. And that was a huge help, because we should have been already working, and with everything stopping in the world like it did, that was a big help right there with the Native Development Fund to be able to do that for us. And then one thing that we did reach out to was the PPP. Maria got online and Ted kind of told us, what to look for. So we went and looked for that, and they actually helped too. I think we got, because of how many workers I had and whatnot, we got up to like $14,000, almost 15. Wasn't a lot of money, but it helped because we still have payments every month, just like everyone else. And that kind of helped a lot. So that's kind of part of the COVID, how this has all affected us. And things are going to get better, and we're gonna work right through it. Like I was saying earlier in the video, that the tribe already got a hold of me and said things are gonna start back up. We're gonna start logging again, and families will be taken care of. But as a businessman now, without that kind of help, it would have been a struggle. So I'd like to thank NNDF for helping us out there. The Landon fire, I just kind of want to share this because this is where all the stories are shared right here at lunchtime. Everybody, saying how their job's going or teasing one another, So, just having a good time. But the Landon fire, we all bring a can of soup, and we sit around the fire, get warm, cook our lunch. Sometimes guys will break off branches, to like a little fork and put their sandwiches above there, warm their sandwiches up. But the Landon fire is kind of an important part of the piece of our whole crew, especially in our winters that we have here. A lot of snow and we get a lot of rain. So the processors will actually cut the Landon guy a whole bunch of wood. This is kind of the leftovers. It's springtime now, but we probably burned, I bet you, 2-3 cord right here. Because with all the wood coming in, we built a great big old fire, just to stay warm. But I mean, this is where everyone stands around. There's a lot of stories here. We were here in this spot for probably a couple months. This was our main landing. Truck drivers get here, they'll get out and warm up and cook their lunch or whatnot. And it's kind of the office spot for us loggers, is the Landon fire during the wintertime. Well, it's kind of the conclusion or the end of the story out here, and I just would like to thank everyone that supports small businesses like mine, Redbone Logging. And I want to give a big old shout out to NNDF and his whole team. They are awesome. They believed in us, they gave us a shot, and we're living the dream. So a big thanks to Ted Piccolo and NNDF for believing in us and giving us this chance. Thank you, guys.